Hey everybody, it's Terry coming back again with a bit of story time for everybody. I hope everyone's been liking them so far. Today I'm first going to speak to this charming little character down here. See what he's got to say for himself.
Oh, you must be a hunter. Very sorry. The incense must have masked your scent. Good, good. I've been waiting for one of your ilk. These hunts have everyone all locked up inside, waiting for it to end. It always does, always has, since forever. But it won't end nicely, not this time. Even some folks hiding inside are going bad. The screams of women folk, the stench of blood, the snarls of beasts, none of them's too uncommon now. Yharnam's done for, I tell ya. But if you spot anyone with their wits about 'em, tell 'em about this here Erdin chapel. They'll be safe here. The incense wards off the beasts. Spread the word. Tell 'em to come on over, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay, so he sounds really unsavory, and the fact that he didn't notice me coming, and he blamed the incense on that, was the fact that he can't see. And I guess maybe he can't hear either, because I'm clopping around pretty loud. But yeah, anyway, if I find people who are kind of stranded out in the outside area, like locked up in their houses, wanting to get away, I can send them here. And there's certain people I want to send and certain people I don't. So I think maybe we'll go find the first one to send back. And she made a debut in the first episode. We'll see if I can remember how the hell to get to her again. But yeah, I'm gonna rescue a little survivor here. Dun, dun, dun. I guess we'll just go back there and see if that works. So what's story time going to be today? Today's story time, I think, will be about a very recent event, the one that has strong ties to my past. Not just my past, but the past of my family, like my brother, my sister, my dad, and my mom. But mom doesn't really factor into it too much because she wasn't really there for a lot of it. But yeah, today is going to be about a very recent trip we took last weekend. Actually, I think this guy has something for me.
I'm afraid I'm of little help now, but before I take this,
Hey.
I made no use of it, but perhaps you. What afflicted me was incurable, but this town gave me hope. Their strange blood bought me time. I was most fortunate. Unharmed by the plague of beasts, I can even die human.
Yeah, totally. You don't tell me to die, son. I'll take your fucking head off. So yeah, just this last weekend, my family and I went to Squamish, our hometown, and you might remember it as starring in the stories I told last week, or last episode. I talked about setting a fire and starting a war. So yeah, I guess we'd been reminiscing a little bit the weekend before that, and everyone, pretty much the entire, well, my brother, my sister, my dad, and I think that's about it, all wanted to go. So we made plans to go do that. And my dad said that he'd called up an old friend of his who he used to work with and who he hadn't really spoken to in quite a while, but wanted to get together and meet up with them. And we were going to go take a tour of our old town, check out some of our old haunts, all that sort of cool stuff. So that's what we did. We went down, or we went up, I guess it is technically north of where we are. So we went to Squamish, we drove up, and it was just really weird. Like, we were noticing all these things. Like, there's lots that's changed because it has been a while. But there's a lot that stayed the same, so it was kind of neat to see all the samey bits mixed in with the new bits.
I heard I had. help me, you hear? So what'll it be? Are you going to tell me or not?
So this pleasant customer is one of the people we can send to the church.
Well, what do you know? An outsider worth a lick of salt. Well, don't just stand there. Don't you have work to do? Go slit some throats. Get this mess done with.
All right, sure. So she makes it there on her own for some friggin' how. I don't know how she does it. This little old lady. But anyway, so we made the trip up there. We stopped at. We were gonna stop at a place called Shannon Falls because we remember that from our childhood as well, and it was kind of cool. But it was the weekend, and I guess that's a very popular rock climbing and hiking spot. I had no idea. So yeah, it was like the parking lot was full. There was no way to really stop anywhere. So we got into town, and two very major landmarks that we remember from our childhood was there was a 7-Eleven and there was a McDonald's. And they were the two most stopped at places between Vancouver and Whistler Blackcomb, which is known for being very popular skiing and snowboarding spots. So yeah, it was, but I mean, anytime we went out of Squamish, we'd go to the McDonald's or we'd stop at the 7-Eleven and we get pop and chips and all that kind of stuff. So we definitely stopped. We didn't stop there on our way in, but we definitely were like, oh man. And McDonald's has kind of changed. It looks very much more like it's just a ski lodge. I guess they're really playing it up for the Whistler Blackcomb folks. But they're also, or the 7-Eleven it hasn't changed. It's the same 7-Eleven on the outside, at least. On the inside, it's a little different, but on the outside, it's just the same shit. It's really cool. So here's the lady, the lovely, kind-hearted soul that we uprooted from her home and sent her to the chapel.
Oh no, I haven't forgotten. Do you think I owe you something? Well, that's a fine lark, I'd say. This whole mess that Yharnam's in, it's all your fault. You put it to the outsiders. Our blood's ruined, tainted by your ilk. Don't you come near me. I know your type.
You know, whatever. So, yeah, we went up, sorry. And got to meet up with our old family friends. It was really cool. Like, we hadn't seen them since we were little children. And they haven't seen us since then either. So, you know, I walked out and I remember my dad's friend being, like, anytime I remembered him being really tall and lanky and all this kind of stuff. I always remember him being super tall. And like, I walk out of my dad's car and I'm like 6'2", and I've got like several inches on the guy now, and I was like, what? Like, it was such a weird shock. Like, he looked at me like, wow, you got big, and I'm like, I remember you being way bigger. But I mean, when you're a kid, everything's like gigantic, so he can't really be blamed. Oh yeah, here's the first sort of Lovecraftian nod in this game is you get these something happens here, and I'll get you guys to check it out. Ooh, I got some new armor. Isn't that great? Maybe I should check out the... Oh no! And what's doing that? Oh no! Oh, I survived it. I was not expecting to survive it. I figured I probably would have died. Normally you die, but hey, I guess I'm just pretty awesome. So yeah, later in the game you're actually able to see what that thing is. And it's still there. Just can't see it. But I also got myself some new armor, so I'm going to go equip that. Because I do think this looks pretty fucking slick. I'll at least equip these, because they look pretty good. And it brings out my me features. So that's what... I guess that's what I look like in a top hat, if anyone's wondering. Oh my god. I look like I should be a goth. Oh, like, really condescending towards anyone who doesn't wear all black like I do. And smoke clove cigarettes and listen to Bauhaus and Joy Division. Oh, goths. I had a phase like that too. Still kind of do. If like I probably would if I had the money to afford the badass clothes, but I wasn't quite as judgmental to goth that some turn out to be. Guys. And that's how that's taken care of. So yeah, we went and we visited and got to hang out at their house, which it was weird. Like we remembered the layout of it perfectly, and we went and yeah, we just kind of checked out all over their house. And you know how they say that scent is the sense greatest tied to memory. So when we went to their house, we got showed to their basement. And when we were originally being babysat there, when our dad, when our dad went to work, he would drop us off there, and then we'd get a lift to school. And before school, we would go, and they had a big playroom. It was like this really big, because they had a daughter with, I don't remember what it was. It was a developmental disability, I believe, and so they basically, like, to help her, you know, have a good time and all this kind of stuff, they built a really nice little playroom down in their basement, so she could, you know, always be having fun and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, and, you know, we'd play with her and, like, her sister Jennifer down there. And, yeah, I remember the way that place smelled. It had a very distinct smell to it. And we went back down there, and all of a sudden I was hit with that exact same smell. Like, it hadn't changed at all. It was really, really weird. So I had, like, you know, a series of sort of like flashbacky moments, and it was really cool. And then, yeah, they turned their other half of their basement into a what's it called? Airbnb. And it was friggin' really nice. So we got to check it out, and they told us, like, they were booked all through the summer. They were, like, one of the highest rated ones in, like the West Coast or something like that. And they're always getting, you know, people, like, and they make a crap load of money off of it. So I was like, damn, man, I wish I had a place that I could convert into one of those. That was really cool. And just I think the coolest thing about it was that we were able to, like, all get along with one another and sort of reconnect, and it felt really effortless. I don't know. I mean, I've experienced that sort of same sort of thing a lot, but it is always really nice to not really try to reconnect with someone, to not have to kind of force it. And it wasn't at all. Like, we all kind of fell into sync, and it was a very uplifting experience. So, I mean, they had a wedding to go to, I think it was, or a birthday. It was like one of their parents' birthday. So we went, we obviously didn't go with them to that. So we decided to go back downtown in Squamish and got ourselves some lunch. And after that, we headed into the Uptown area. And so I'm going to talk to this.
You're a beast hunter, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, hey.
I knew it. That's precisely how I started out.
You knew it?
Oh, beg pardon.
Do it.
You may call me Alfred, protege of Master Ligarius, hunter of vile bloods. So, what say you? Our prey might differ, but we are hunters, the both of us. Why not cooperate and discuss the things we've learned?
Let's have a little chit and a chat.
Oh, very good. Very good indeed. Take this to celebrate our acquaintance.
I'll always chat with a man with mutton chops that incredible. You teach me to pray, eh?
Beast hunting is a sacred practice. May the good blood guide your way.
Cool, dude. Cool.
There must be oodles for us to share. Go on.
Oodles?
Just tell me what piques your interest.
Don't use oodles. Don't use a word like oodles in a place like this. It's fucked up, dude.
The healing church
fucked up.
is the fountainhead of blood healing. Well, I'm a simple hunter, quite unfamiliar with the ins and outs of the institution. But I have heard that the holy medium of blood healing is venerated in the main cathedral, and that councillors of the old church reside in the high stratum of the cathedral ward.
All right.
If you seek blood healing, and the church is willing, you should pay them a visit.
Yeah, looks like I'm going to do that. Cool, thanks, man.
Byrgenwerth is an old place of learning, and the Tomb of the Gods, carved out below Yharnam, should be familiar to every hunter. Well, once a group of young Byrgenwerth scholars discovered a holy medium deep within the tomb. This led to the founding of the Healing Church and the establishment of blood healing. In this sense, everything sacred in Yharnam can be traced back to Byrgenwerth. But today, the college lies deep within a tangled wood, abandoned and decrepit. And furthermore, the Healing Church has declared Byrgenwerth forbidden ground. It's unclear how many of its scholars remain alive, but only they know the password that allows passage through the gate. I bid you farewell. It has been a pleasure. May the good blood guide your way.
And you. Bye, guy. Oh, that does kind of look like me. So yeah, I guess we now know that the Healing Church, they were the guys who brought about all the blood healing, and they found the medium for this blood healing. So a source of blood that can heal just about anything. They found it below a place called Byrgenwerth. So already some stuff starting to unravel, and we're starting to kind of figure out that there's something's kind of weird in this friggin' place. So yeah, then after we got our lunch, we then drove back up to the Highlands, which is where we used to live. And man, like, if the nostalgia happened hard enough when we were down in the that basement in the Centatus, man, like just the sights that we noticed on our way to the Highlands, and that brought up back some pretty cool memories and all that kind of stuff. It was a very interesting, pretty interesting time. So we stopped. Where did we stop first? I think we went to. Whoa. We went to our old. We went to our old school first. Oh, forgot you could do that. You know what? I'm done. Peace. Yeah, I think we went back to our old school first. And that was, man, that was a really neat, that was just bizarre. Like, so much of it hasn't changed a bit. They've kind of added some, like, a wing to it, and they've added some, like, external buildings, because around the back there used to be, like, portable classrooms, and they're just, like, the big sort of buildings that are stuck to, that you can just kind of drag them out there and set them up, and kids can have a class. Just die, dude. But those have been replaced with actual physical buildings. Oi, mate. I know you want to swing that brick in my face, but I also want to pull out your guts. I don't know why, but from time to time I do like to drip into a bit of an Australian accent. I do think that it's possibly because I've been watching some Aussie Man reviews, but also because it's one of the few accents I can do without being accused of being a racist. That and Scottish, and I don't really feel like doing Scottish right now. So yeah, we went to our old school, and man, it was like, yeah, again, it was just really cool. And we looked out on the old field where, in the last episode, I told you we had that fucking all-out knockdown, drag-out brawl that we'd started. And, like, it's still there. It looks exactly the same with the exception of the fact that they took out this big playground set that they used to have. And this big metal, like, jungle gym kind of dome thing. But the jungle gym dome thing was actually just transplanted over to further over part of the field where there used to be a different kind of, like a second playground. So we went and we checked out that and we climbed all over it, and there was 2 other sort of monkey bar things that had been there. They were on the other side of the school originally when we were going there. So we climbed all over those, got some pictures on them and all that kind of stuff. It was really fun. But then, what did we do after that? Oh yeah, before that there was this one wall. It was kind of like a new addition just after I had left. After I left grade 5 and had to go to another school that was kind of down further, like on the ground. Or like down the mountain. Where'd you go, you little shit? Oh man. This guy sucks. Huh, didn't know I could do that. Oh dear. Whew. Never done that without taking any damage. So yeah, there was this wall, and it was like I think it goes around their library. I think they'd moved the library over. And we looked at it, we checked it out, and on this wall, my brother and sister's grades were given this project to decorate these tiles that would go around the outside of this wall, and they're all still there from their year. So we went and we checked it out, and I remember my brother and sister both did them. My brother did like 3 small ones, and my sister did one bigger one. And I guess like there was a lot of them that I guess had been damaged by vandals and all this kind of stuff, because Squamish, after we left, kind of turned into a bit of a shit place for a while. It's been cleaned up, but oh, I love doing this. You'll never know how satisfying this is until you try it yourself. Oh. So anyway, we went and checked out all these tiles, and we were able to find all 3 of my brothers, but we're pretty damn sure there was one that was like damaged beyond repair, and they had to cover it with this like pasty stuff. And we're pretty damn sure there was a few of them that were like that, and we're pretty sure that one of those was her sister's, because we couldn't find any other ones that jogged her memory at all, and certainly none that were signed or anything. So that was a bummer. I really hope that we were able to get like find those and get pictures of them, because we got pictures of Shane's and everything, but unfortunately, yeah, we couldn't find anything for our sister, which, yeah, that was a bummer. Guys, Jesus, don't do that. Freak me out. Get off me. So yeah, then from there, we went over to around the other side, and around the other side of our school, like I said, there was a dirt field for the longest time, but that's since grown over with grass. And they put another portable classroom in that area, which is kind of neat. Oh yeah, I can't open this. So we went around, and all of that other side is like, they've got, like I said, the new wing there, so that was a little different. And they've got new playground equipment and stuff, some pretty cool stuff. Stuff that I would have sure as hell would have liked when I was a kid, but they've got, there was a forest area at the end of the dirt field that we were never allowed to go in when I went there, and I think they changed that for my brother, because he said he used to play in this forest area all the time after I'd left. But sorry about that. But yeah, we were able to roam around in that forest area, and my brother, the whole time we were driving down there, he was talking about this rock fort that he used to play in. And at first we thought that it had been removed, but then we found it, and it was this big, like, man, it was these huge boulders that it kind of formed a bit of a fort. It was really cool. So we went and checked that out. We were climbing around on these old trees that we remembered. And there was an old stream that used to go through that back area, and unfortunately that looked like it had been dried up, or they had done something to get rid of it. Maybe to fight like mosquitoes and stuff, because that place used to get really full of mosquitoes because it was just a bunch of standing water. But then there was these trails that would branch off, and one would lead to the park that the fire tree was, and the other one we could take, and it was like a quicker route, but it would take us back to, both would take us back to our house. Just the one through the park would be a little more of a circuitous route. So we went and checked those out, and they were all still there. It was really cool to see. And I'm going to try and level up a little bit,
Well, what is it?
because I want to do
Very
something here.
well. Let me.
There we go.
Farewell, good hunter. May you find your worth in the waking world.
And I hope you find yours later in the game. So, yeah, I'm going to just take a break from going out and killing stuff, because there's something I got to get. Because now I got my old buddy, my old pal, Kirk Hammer. Is that going to do? Yeah, fuck it. Let's give Kirk that. So now I have... Oh, actually, maybe I'll repair my other one. Doesn't need much, but may as well. So now I like this weapon because I'm going to be focusing on strength and stuff, and this one is very good if you are focused on strength, as I'm sure you can imagine. I'm wielding a block with a shitload of, I guess, one of the Norse sagas written on it or something, and it turns into a big ol' hammer named Kirk. I don't know why it's called the Kirk Hammer. There's probably some reason why, and it's one of very few things actually that I haven't actually bothered to look into for Bloodborne, is why it's called the Kirk Hammer. What the word Kirk means as it is attached to the hammer. So yeah, it's got a nice little sword, a little long sword that's quite quick and versatile, and then you can switch out into the fucking hammer and just wreck stuff. So now that we got that, let's go back to smashing some shit in. So yeah, then after the school, we went around, checked out a few other little spots in our old neighborhood, and I saw my old friend James's house. It's not changed at all. It's the exact same color that it used to be, and it looks exactly the same. We didn't drive up to it though, because I haven't spoke to his parents in ages, and I think we were on the way somewhere anyway, so we just kind of passed by and we're like, holy shit, there's James's house. But then we went and drove to our old house. And boy, oh boy, has that changed. First of all, there was a road called the Boulevard. It was just called the Boulevard. And it did all of the Highlands roads, basically. And our house was originally at the very top of the boulevard. But they have over the last, I guess only a few years, put in an entire university campus up at the top of the boulevard. It used to be just like, there was like a... When we were kids, there was just a grass field, and then at the top of the boulevard, and beyond that it was just forest and like a ravine and a creek, and that was about it. And it was really cool. The creek was called the Masheter Creek, and you could actually go to this one spot where there was kind of like a mini falls, and like I guess it was a river or a stream or something. I can't remember what it was classified as, but there was definitely parts of it that were really strong and kind of dangerous. But this creek, there was this really cool waterfall sort of spot where kids could go, like lots of kids and stuff. There was a rope swing from this cliff down into the creek, and there was a really neat spot where the water went, and I guess over time it eroded a lot of these rocks to the point that it was like pretty much perfectly smooth. And the cool thing was you could actually use this one spot like a little water slide, and it would empty out into this really cool like pool where the current would like sort of drag you back up to a nice spot where it was shallow. So you could just like, it was where the rope swing dropped you off, but it would also just kind of like the current would carry you off to a place where it would shallow out again. So it wasn't like you get dragged downstream to your death. It was like, it was standing room water. So you just get dragged down, you just kind of doo-doo-doo until you're back on your feet. And so yeah, it was originally all this, but then they'd hollowed out most of that, I guess built a big bridge over the ravine. And yeah, it was just this huge fucking like full out university campus. Like it was gigantic. And there was people all over the place. Like the traffic up there, like originally when we were kids, was sparse. Like there was very, very little traffic. But after that, like on our way up there, it was super, super busy. There was people all over the place. And yeah, like everyone was going up to that university. It was crazy. So anyway, after we looked at the university afterwards, but after checking all that out, we went to our old house. And it was really cool. As we were nearing it, we like came around the corner and stuff, and it was just this really, yeah, it's, I don't know, it's the really weird nostalgic feeling, I guess, because, you know, we hadn't been there since we were, well, I mean, I visited it a few times back when my best friend Angie used to live there, so we'd go by there and like to get to her house, but yeah, going down there was like rounding that corner and everything was a really surreal experience. And then seeing our house was very odd because so much of it has changed. The structure of the house is the same, but it's a different color. It's like this, when we lived there, it was like this really kind of like military green, right? But after we left, all right, stop barking, dude. Welcome to Turbo Beasts. So yeah, it was originally this like military type olive drab green. And then after we moved, I think the family that moved in there painted it like this, just a really pukey yellow. It was really gross. But then I guess whoever moved in there after them painted it this really weird, like a royal blue. And it looked okay, but the weirdest part about it was when we used to live there, there was 3 trees in the front yard. There was 2 white cherry trees, and then surrounding that, or like right out in front of our front door, was this giant red cherry tree. Really, really big, and it was really cool. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I got lost there for a second. And the red cherry tree was pretty damn big. I remember my sister and brother used to hide in there from our grandma. Like Shane used to climb up there all the time. He was like a spider monkey. I sucked at climbing. I was never very good at it, so I never really went up there, other than like the first little bit. Oop. Ooh, I'm getting shards. So, yeah, we had these 3 trees in the front yard, and I think they cut down all but one of them. There was one white cherry tree, but yeah, the old red tree that we used to love when we were kids is totally gone. And then, we never had any kind of a fence around the front yard. It was always just open yard. There was a ditch out front, and that was it. It was just this nice big open area and all this kind of stuff. And they had built a huge fence around the yard. Like, I don't know if, I don't think I was able to really even look over it. It was super high. And then in the yard itself, we could kind of see it. They had just decked the place out with just the weirdest, gaudiest lawn furniture and shit. It was like, they just fucked it up. And just, oh man, it looked so shitty. So I think we didn't really look at it too long because it felt weird. Like, you know, they built a fence around it. They clearly kind of didn't want people looking in, so we didn't feel right, like just stopping and staring at the place, you know? So, I mean, we looked at it, we, you know, read the old address. I remember I'd memorized it, still remember it to this day. But, yeah, we looked at it, but we didn't really get a chance to reminisce, which was kind of a bummer. But then we went and drove down the our old road, where the which sort of bottomed out at the park there. So we walked down there. Our dad parked on the side of the road, and we walked down to the park. And the one thing that I was really hoping would be there is still there. We found the remnants of the old tree that I set on fire. There's not a whole lot left, but like the singe marks are still there. I think it's like, it's basically two sort of supporting side bits, and like it's like maybe 2 feet off the ground. Like it's really small now. But yeah, you could see like the old charred bits and everything. Like it was still, and it's like grown over with this like really like a licheny kind of moss. It looked really cool. So it was like this old relic of the past. And so there's actually, I think if we can get it, I'll see if I can get Shane, because he recorded like my little recanting of it. And maybe if we can, I'll see if we can post it on the maybe our Facebook page, or maybe we'll even just put it up on YouTube or something. So yeah, it was really cool seeing that. And then we went around, and like the whole thing is, town is long abandoned. Hunter's not wanted here. Well, I mean, I ain't got nowhere else to go, guys. So I mean, I'm sorry, but screw your piece of paper. I also want blood shards.
Hunter, didn't you see the warning?
I did.
Turn back at once. Old Yharnam, burned and abandoned by men, is now home only to beasts.
Oh yeah.
They are of no harm to those alone. Turn back, or the hunter will face the hunt.
Can't do that, buddy. So I'll see you later. See you soon. So yeah, we went down. Yeah, the park. A lot of it's changed. All the old playground shit's gone. They built a tennis court over the old tennis court. What else did they do? Not really much else. I mean, everything else was like, it was all just forest back there anyway, so it wasn't really anything super. I guess not much had changed from there. Get back here. Thank you. And from there, our dad wasn't feeling so hot, so he decided to hang out in the car. So our sister came back with us, and we walked back up to the old house, and we like looked at it, and then Shane and I wanted to go look around a little more, because we had a few friends that used to live around there, and we just kind of wanted to jog our memories a little bit. And our sister was like, "Nah, I'll just sit in the car," because like she didn't really, none of her friends lived around the area. So Shane and I went and checked it out. We kind of circled the block, because we, like, most of our friends kind of lived within that sort of couple block radius. But then it was one thing we commented on as we were sitting there walking around, was the just how quiet it is. Like, we live in the city now. We live in Vancouver. It's a very, very loud, very bustling kind of city. And even out in the sort of quieter area where we live, it's still pretty loud. Like, there's always sirens, there's always cars, there's always people shouting. And there was none of that. The only thing we could hear was wind going through the trees. And it was such a nice change. And yeah, it was really comforting. And the whole place just seemed so much more relaxed than it does in the city. And it was really nice. We'd both kind of wished that we had the ability to live there. But one thing that we did actually before I even went up to visit my dad's friends was we stopped at this old strip mall where there was a hotel called the Sea to Sky Hotel. And it was really old. I remember Angie's mom used to work there. Our mom used to work there. And we used to go there every now and then, because on the weekends they would have a big buffet. Big breakfast buffet. So we'd go there and pay one price and just eat ourselves sick on all kinds of, like, you know, scrambled eggs, pancakes, French toast, sausages, bacon. There was like big things, eggs Benedict you could get. There was like, it was crazy. And that hotel like barely changed. I mean, there's a huge strip mall built around it, all kinds of different stores and all this kind of stuff. And it was totally different. Except the Sea to Sky. And then we went around the back, and there was a whole bunch of old stores and stuff that we remembered, and like there was an old video store that we used to get video games at all the time, and I think it was called Highland Video. And it was either Highland or Browns. I think it was Highland Video. Browns was like downtown Squamish. And Brown's, or Highland Video, sorry, was right next to an old barbershop. And beside that was a pizza place called Top Hat Pizza. And Top Hat Pizza and the old barbershop are still there. And that was really cool. Like, their old signs were the exact same and everything. There was a bunch of like restaurants and businesses that were like the exact fucking same. And there was an old fish and chips place called Wigan Pier. And we used to laugh, me and my friends, James and Travis, because we used to walk home from school together, we used to laugh because there was a sign out front of that place that said mushy peas and coleslaw. And for some reason, we just always found that funny. And that sign's still there. It's like just about vaporized off the glass because it's come apart. It's all sun bleached and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, the whole sign, like the sign's still there, and like the whole restaurant's still there, and all kinds of cool stuff. It was really neat. But outside not the Sea to Sky, but there was a grocery store that had been put in, like a Save-On or something. And outside was a realty place. And we checked it out. We checked out some of the listings, and there was a listing that was really close to our area. It was really like kind of down the block and across the street from where we used to live. So very much like within a block radius, I guess. And the cost of the place was like $1.3 million, which, I mean, pretty expensive. And apparently, like, you know, in Vancouver, we had the 2010 Winter Olympics. And apparently what happened was, because they hosted a lot of the Olympic events in Whistler Blackcomb, because there was a lot of, you know, they got the ski hills and all that kind of shit there. That's where the bobsledder from Georgia died. You can still watch the video of him kind of flying off and hitting one of the poles and all this kind of stuff. Pretty bad shit. But apparently tons of Olympians and tons of rich-ass tourists who were able to fly their, you know, caviar sucking asses. Oh. Yeah, he just said you're a good hunter, but that sucks because I like these little guys. Alright guys, settle down now. I'm trying to kill ya. Oh yeah, won't you grab your nutsack? No. Keep away. Okay. And one thing, so that guy is threatening me, telling me to fuck off, leave these beasts alone. And I was kind of wondering why, but if you look at the size of these guys, they're not very big, right? They're kind of like flimsy little beasts, and they're only kind of scary when they outnumber you. And then you look at the villagers, like the ones that I saw earlier, they get pretty big. Like they gain like a 1.5 feet of height. They get really lanky. They get larger. They don't get smaller generally. And the werewolves are kind of a step beyond that. And like, you know, when the beast mode really kicks in. So look at how big these things are. They're not so big. They're pretty tiny by beast standards. Like little teeny bodies, you know, big misproportioned heads. So I'm pretty damn sure these are the beast forms of children, which, if you think about it, he's right to want to protect them. He's right to want these poor little kids to not be attacked by some freak who's just coming by to get his fix of blood, i.e. me. So FromSoft is really good at making you feel like shit for killing stuff. But yeah, then yeah, so all these rich folks came in, and the whole place has been gentrified. It's like downtown is like hipster haven. So we went down there after, and it's like all these classy little buildings with big cafes. There was like 2 or 3 cafes right next to each other, and it was like, and they've all got clever little names like, ooh, aren't you fucking slick, right? And all these like, ooh, vintage clothing stores, consignment stores. Oh, I'm not a big fan of rich people, if you can tell. They ruin all kinds of shit. Rich people, they just suck. So anyway, yeah. So he said I got to stop you, and in case you can't see up there, we got a bit of a minigun situation. So this just made my traversing this area that much more tricky. Because I don't want to get filled with holes. So anyway, yeah, it was... Ooh. So we went and we checked that out. The downtown area, there was like some kind of a fitness festival or something like that going on. The downtown area, like its layout was still the same. There was, again, lots of old stuff that's still there and lots of new stuff that's been put in. So it was really weird watching this like strange sort of balance of old and new. Okay. Whew. So anyway, yeah, it was all around a good time. We went and after all that was over, we went and checked out the 7-Eleven and got ourselves some pop and chips, as we used to do when we were leaving town. And from there we went to Porto Cove, which was an old beach that was there when we were kids. And yeah, it was a lot of that was still relatively same. Again, because of because of how popular the place has become over recent years, it was super, super busy. It was really crowded. It wasn't really we didn't really have a lot of space to kind of chill out or anything. And the tide was in, so we didn't really get to go down on the beach proper. There's this really cool pier thing, and they've got really neat, like the environmental societies kind of put up all these neat signs about all the wildlife that lives like in the water and all this kind of stuff. It was really cool. So we got to check all that out again and got some pictures of the water. And then from there we just headed on home. And it was a really nice time. It was cool. I was really quiet for the most of it just because I was kind of in like reminisce mode. But I had a great time. It was really cool. It was 10 out of 10 would do again. So, oh, and yeah, another thing we did was like one of our favorite places to go in Squamish. For most of us actually, even my sister used to go there from time to time, was Angie's house. So we actually went down to Angie's house on a street called Bill's Place. And it was named for this old fella called Bill, who used to, I think he owned the first house that was built on that street. And it was named after him. And he was like this philanthropist old dude, really, this is a neat old guy. I think we went over to his house 1 or 2 times. And Angie lived like right across from him. So we actually got pictures of Angie's old house. And for the most part, that one's totally stayed the same. But whoever got it put these like, this weird like rock paneling out the front. It looks kind of weird, but again, I'll go get some pictures and stuff. Like we do have pictures, so we'll probably post them if we get the chance later. And you know, maybe we'll post them on our Facebook page or some shit. But yeah, it was, all in all, it was a really, really good time. It was really cool, like, just going back, especially now, because I'm going to be starting school, very soon, actually in like 2 weeks from today, I think. And, yeah, it was just really neat checking that out before I go and devote a year of my life to learning how to make cartoons like Shane does. So yeah, I think, I guess I don't really have, there's not really like a boss that's anywhere near here. I do like to kind of end things on like a boss fight or something, like end things kind of close to somewhere really cool. But there's not really a lot else for me to do, I guess. So maybe I'll just head on back to the Hunter's Dream and I'll upgrade Kirk. And then, yeah, I guess I'll say goodbye to everyone for the day. So let's reawaken here. Get ourselves a Motrin headache and teleport. It's also getting really hot in here, and I think I've talked way longer than I normally do, so may as well end it here. But first, I'll upgrade all of my stuff. Oh, come on, dude. So yeah, I think actually after this episode, I think I'll do 4 episodes of each of the games that I put up on the thing. So the next episode is I'm probably gonna start out playing Dark Souls. Dark Souls 3, in fact. So yeah, I'm gonna level up here.
What is it? Very well lit.
Put 1 in each of those.
Farewell, good hunter. May
And you. So yeah, I'm gonna start playing Dark Souls 3, and hopefully that'll be a lot of fun. Probably gonna be swearing a lot more. I'll try and find a really fun build as well, like something that I haven't done before. Because normally, like if I play like a strength build or a strength or a oh my god, skill build or pyromancy build or something, then I'll just be playing all the same shit I normally play, and that's not, I don't know, it's not as fun. It's more fun if I'm playing something that's weird and that really challenges me. There we go. We'll beef up Kirk and we'll give our old buddy something else here. He'll beef you up a little bit. So yeah, there we go. That's the end of that chapter. I hope everyone enjoyed me playing Bloodborne. Maybe I'll go back to it after. I'll kind of maybe start cycling through, I guess, if people continue to like these. If not, I mean, you know, let me know. I'll figure something else out to do. Maybe once I'm done school, or maybe once I'm in school, I probably won't even have time to really do these anyway, so we'll see, we'll see. Time will tell, and hope everyone enjoyed, and hope you have yourselves a wonderful day, and I hope that you guys have something to reminisce about. Maybe get some chance to relive some good memories. Good ones. No, try not to relive some bad ones. Yeah, the world needs some good right now. Try and find something good today. Let me know in the comments if you want to do that, and I'll comment something nice. So bye everyone. Hope you and and goodbye. God damn it.